I will never die. I'm eternal. I'm full of love. When I know this and I see you as a soul, so there's no problem.
Is there a connection between the body, mind and the soul?
There is a connection between body and mind. Soul is never affected by anything. Body is just a manifesting field. It has no independence. Whatever the body is doing now is governed by the mind. Everything in this system is actually nourished by the food we eat. It all starts from the food.
From a workplace perspective, how emotions can be managed, Dr. Partap? What's the role of sleep?
Sleep is
नींद
very...
कितनी जरूरी है?
Sleep
Productive, happy employee के लिए.
I don't recommend heavy exercises, Ardhabal. Ardhabal means use half of your strength for exercise. Breakfast is so important. Emotions, this whole system needs prana. Look at the food which has more prana. That's why vegetarian food. So much research all over the world has been done. Now they call it plant-based diet. We call it vegetarian. Ayurveda is very simple. If you make a small change in what they're eating, what they're drinking, I can show you results within a few weeks.
Welcome to the another episode of Passion Persuade from Executive Access. My name is Rajender Sood, and today we're going to explore some new options of dealing with the Bani world. As all of you are aware, the world has moved from VUCA world to the Bani world, which means the world is becoming more brittle, more intolerant, anxiety levels are going up, a lot of fear setting in, relationships are becoming difficult to manage, love, man ki shanti dhoond rahe hain. And to answer all these questions today, especially while the Western model has a lot of ways to train people, but the question is, do we have an Indian model, and especially in the context of Ayurveda? So does Ayurveda have a role to play at workplace? To answer that question, today we have a very special guest, Dr. Partap Chauhan. Dr. Partap, welcome to this special episode of Passion Persuade.
Thank you.
And
very
I'm
much.
aware of the fact that you are exceptionally passionate about the subject of Ayurveda. You are a well-known TV personality. You are an author. You are a practicing physician. You are the person in the world who pioneered Ayurveda, telemedicine, and you were awarded by the United Nations in Geneva for pioneering work that you're doing. So we are delighted and we're blessed to have you with us.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me on this podcast, and we'll try to find out some solutions for the question that you just raised. How can we be more happy at the workplace? How we can be more emotionally balanced, mentally balanced, and I say spiritually balanced also.
Sure. So let's jump into the question straight away, Dr. Partap.
Yeah.
What is Ayurveda, and can Ayurveda be implemented, applied at workplace?
Of course, Ayurveda can be implemented in the workplace. It can definitely, make people healthy, happy at every level, whether it is physical, mental, spiritual, every level, because Ayurveda, in short, is the knowledge, it's the Veda of Ayur. And when we say Ayur actually is a combination of body, senses, mind and soul, which broadly we can say body, mind and soul. So which is this whole system, and this is the employee which works in the corporates.
Absolutely.
So if we are aware of what this system is all about, and that is what Ayurveda describes. It's like how to keep it healthy, and if something goes wrong, how to fix it.
That's
simple.
Right.
Two goals of Ayurveda: how to maintain, health, happiness, and if something goes wrong, how to bring it back. So that's what basically Ayurveda talks about.
Thank you so much. And there's a saying, a happy employee brings happy customer.
Yes, of
and
course.
Happy customer gives more profit to the company.
Of course.
So now the question comes is, Dr. Partap, if you are the CEO of a company, how will you create happiness at workplace?
It's very simple. First of all, because I'll bring in Ayurvedic principles, and
Sure.
we are talking about, workplace and how do we, cater to the well-being of the employees, or when I say employees, it includes all different sections.
Sure.
So first and basic thing is, I have understood in my practice, and I work with a lot of corporate people also, is that people do not understand their own prakriti, their own nature. This is the basic thing. It's like, when you're driving a car or you're using any gadget, you know something about that.
We have a user manual.
Yeah, there's a manual, Yeah. So the manual for this human being is Ayurveda. So every human being is different. This is the problem. When we work with corporate people, you have to find out, the teamwork, leadership and all these things. Collaboration. So if we do not understand each other's nature, then there is bound to be a problem. So Ayurveda says that, of course, everybody is different. But still, once we understand our own nature and then we try to understand the nature of the other employees around us, then we can have a very nice synergy. We can have a very nice collaboration and work together, and that will bring happiness in the workplace. That will bring happiness to everybody. So Ayurveda says Prakriti. And when it says Prakriti, it actually, it's not only just the physical, it's also like what is your mind like, what kind of emotions are more powerful in you, which emotions are more strong, which emotions are more weak. And especially, if you go beyond that, the spiritual well-being also is also included in that. So basic thing, understand your nature and then accordingly design your own lifestyle, your food, your, recreation, your hobbies according to your nature. It's like putting the right fuel in the right car.
Now that calls for, if you have a large organization to
Yeah.
implement all these things,
Yeah.
it will be very complex. So let's try to demystify and make it more simpler. So what I've understood is you're saying, look, there's a connection between the body, heart, and the soul,
Yeah.
right? And unless until the whole thing is connected with each other, you can't have a happy employee at workplace. And for that, you have to understand the prakriti.
Yes.
So in Ayurveda, how do you assess the prakriti of an individual?
So this is very simple. Of course, there is a questionnaire which we hand out to people, and they will just check certain characteristics that they have
Sure.
regarding their physique, their systems, like digestive system, even their features, eyes and nose and all this. So based on that, we get a basic idea, like what is the dominant prakriti. Dominant prakriti here means which of the elements in your body is more dominant. For example, in Ayurveda we talk in terms of vata, pitta, kapha. But it's like derived from the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air and space. For example, some people are a little bit heavy, chubby. They try all diets, they cannot lose
can't
weight.
lose weight.
Yeah. So that is their prakriti. It's not a disease. We have to understand, they have beautiful nature. They are very lovely people. They are very conservative, very loyal, very faithful. So we have to see their characters. And sometimes the HR, I advise them, you put them in the right place. Sometimes they're in a place where it's not according to their nature. So then they'll be not very happy. And another thing you just mentioned is that there is so many people. But imagine each person is happy. Then everybody is happy. It's like in this body, there are trillions of cells. So if all the cells are working properly, then this body is healthy. If one cell is misbehaving, then this can create a lot of disturbance. Same in the workplace is the same.
Sure.
One employee sometimes can create so much troubles. But Ayurveda says find out the root cause. Why this person misbehaves or why he's upset or why he's creating so much disturbance is maybe because something is wrong within his body or his mind or emotional level. So therefore, choosing the right food, choosing the right kind of exercise, choosing the right kind of lifestyle, recreation, hobbies, clothes, perfumes, everything.
Everything has
Even your dressing style according to your nature. Sometimes when you are doing things according to your nature, you feel so happy.
Absolutely.
And then you're really in harmony with everybody else around you.
Absolutely. So that's a very interesting thing you spoke about it, that you have a questionnaire.
Yeah.
In the corporate life, we have many psychometric tests.
Yes.
We have Hogan, we have MBTI.
Yeah, this is Ayurvedic.
This
so
is
we
Ayurvedic.
we have a physical Prakriti test and the mental or psychological Prakriti.
Right.
So we assess like Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and based on that we design a diet, lifestyle and everything. And at the mind level, it is Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. I'm sure you're aware of these
We'll
words.
come to that.
Yeah.
This is slightly overwhelming for me right now.
Okay.
So when you say Vat, Pit and Kapha,
Yes.
what do you mean by saying that?
Simple, body has 3 main energies, when your body is functioning. For example, you have all the movements in the body that is facilitated by Vata energy. All
energy.
Energy, it's called Vata.
Vata.
It's primarily space and what we say air. Vayu और आकाश तत्व से वात बनता है ना. और ये हमारी बॉडी में what is it doing? It's doing all the movements, any kind of movements, blood circulation, food movement, neurotransmission. This is the energy.
Sure.
And it's not a problem, it's energy. Similarly, Pitta is the fire energy, which is responsible for digestion, for metabolism, for assimilation, all transformation. Anything which you eat has to be metabolized.
Sure.
It has to be converted into tissues. And Kapha is the energy which actually keeps your whole thing stuck together. It's like a glue, like a gum. So like your muscles are connected to your ligaments, your bones are connected to something else. This kind of a structure, it gives you stability. So everyone is born with these three energies in different ratios.
Sure.
So whichever energy is dominant, that is your prakriti.
That's the prakriti.
That is your physical body type.
Absolutely. So we'll come to the other part of the body, which is the mental, emotional energy field we talk about, the spiritual field we talk about it. But the first thing you're saying is, if you really want to have a high, productive, happy employee,
Yes.
then understand the prakriti, the nature of the employee.
Because healthy body, healthy mind, there's a
there's
connection.
a connection around it, right?
These days, the modern science is focusing on gut-brain connection.
Right.
So if your gut is not well, you have constipation, you have some kind of trouble, bloating, which is very common.
Right.
Then your brain, your mind will be upset. You will have depression, anxiety. You will be more angry, and this is what we see, in the workplace, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
From the mind also, your gut can be. So we have to understand.
So the first thing you're saying is, if you have to create a very high productive team,
Yes.
and a happy team,
Yes.
then understand the prakriti of the team members.
Bilkul.
Using Ayurvedic principles or any psychometric tool that we are using it, just to get that in place.
I think Ayurvedic is the best.
Ayurvedic is all right. So we create that,
Yeah.
and then look at and then help each employee
Yes.
understand the elements of their energy field,
Yes.
the Vata, Pitta and Kapha that you talk about it, right? So, and then we can help them customize their lifestyle as per the nature.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
then,
first.
then they will be happy.
Then they'll be
because the
happy.
body is healthy. It's like, it's very simple. Like if you have a car, you should know what type of fuel to put. If it's a diesel car, petrol car, electric car, what kind of car
Got
is
it, got it.
So if you're putting the wrong fuel, then it will not work. Then
so
you'll
what-
have so many problems, like whether it is high cholesterol, thyroid problems, or high blood pressure, insomnia.
We'll come to the disease part. That's a very important part of our podcast today.
Yeah.
But the first step is to identify the right person,
Yes.
and put him in the role in which he will enjoy as per his prakriti.
Very
Is
important.
the first step.
Very important.
Right? For the workplace to be more happier place altogether. The second question that comes to my mind is that when it comes to emotions, right? Because most of the time at workplace, when you want to collaborate, when you talk about teamwork, creative expression, problem solving, some of these issues come because we don't know how to manage our emotions, and we react, become angry. Anger levels are going up. Anger leads to high stress levels. Stress level leads to inflammation in the body. Inflammation leads to many diseases in the body.
Autoimmune
Right?
disease.
So autoimmune disease that you're talking about. Right? In fact, there's a saying that cardiac issue, cancer,
Yes.
diabetes,
Inflammation.
and neurological disorders also causing because of the emotions. Right?
Yes, yes.
So I just want to understand from a workplace perspective, how you think we can help employees or help organization create places which are much more responsive to they respond to emotion, they don't react to emotions. So how emotions can be managed, Dr. Partap?
See, it's very simple. It's when we talk about emotions, people go too deep into certain things, and there's a lot of confusion. We just miss the point. Everything in this system is actually nourished by the food we eat. So look at what they're eating. If you go to the canteen in the
Yes.
corporate,
Okay.
see what they're eating.
Okay.
It's all the food which is going to trigger their emotions. Like anger will be more, anxiety will. What in Ayurvedic terms, if I call it, it is called rajasic food. Rajasic means it's going to agitate your mind more.
Okay.
And your mind is agitated, your emotions will be off the roof. It will be too much. You will not be able to control it.
Right.
Another thing is, even if at the physical level you see, if you have too much heat in the body, so that's going to trigger your anger. If you have, like, for example, drinking too much tea, coffee, having a lot of spicy food. So it all starts from the food. We say in India, "Jaisa khao ann vaisa bane man."
Absolutely.
So emotions are in the mind.
So in fact, there's a saying,
Yeah.
Jaisa ann, vaisa man,
Of course.
jaisa man, vaisa tan.
Bilkul.
That's what Sister Shivani teaches
Yes,
us, right?
yes, yes.
So the first thing you say, look at the food that we are serving.
I'm saying that if you really go and change the whatever the canteen
Food is
or
being served.
whatever food, we did some experiments in some corporates. We brought in some very nice healthy sattvic food, and within few weeks they reported that the employees are more peaceful, there's more collaboration, there is more coordination, there is more growth in the company. Of course, when they're happy and healthy, there will be more growth.
And when you say sattvic food means?
So it means like fresh, not processed, not with preservatives, not packaged food. mostly fresh cooked food, which is our home cooked type of food, which can be cooked. So it can be lentils, dal, chawal.
You mean to say vegetarian food?
Vegetables, of course, vegetarian.
Yeah.
See, when we're talking about emotions, this is a very important point. You just when you're talking about emotions, whether it is emotions or physical energy or any spiritual energy, this whole system needs prana. We need prana. Prana is the life force.
Life force.
So therefore, we have to look at the food which has more prana. That's why vegetarian food. And there is so much research has been done on this. It's not something now. We don't compare that this is something Indian. So much research all over the world has been done. Now they call it plant-based diet. In the West, in America, it is called plant-based diet. We call it vegetarian, or some people call it Mediterranean diet.
Right.
Which is also now proved that this is very good for the mind. It's very good for keeping people more happy, more peaceful, more relaxed. So that is what we call sattvic food. And we add one more component into this. Sattvic food, of course, is good for the mind, but it also nourishes a very vital energy in our body, which is called prana.
Prana.
Yeah.
So how to keep the prana flowing? That's a question, Doctor.
So one is, of course, your food and water, fresh, clean water, fresh air. All these have prana. Sunlight has prana. Of course, the pranayama, which we do,
the breathing
exercises. It's also one way to just just revitalize our various sections of the body, and the flow of prana is channeled into various places. So pranayama is one, and if you go more deeper, meditation also.
So we'll come to that part and say water. I do recall my conversation with you many times.
Yeah.
Is there a particular way by which we must consume water?
Yeah, simple. First of all, the water should be like fresh, clean water. These days, this is another issue, bottled water, and this has been kept in this bottle for I don't know how long. And there have been some kind of experiments to check the prana level, energy level. There's some kind of instruments they have. So try to get more fresh water, and then even if you don't have the facility, I would suggest have copper pots.
Store the water in the
copper pots, copper jugs, copper bottles. They are very good. To energize the water, to detoxify the water. So water is very important. Now the problem is that most people don't drink water. In the workplace, I've seen people drinking coffee and black tea, chai, coffee. Some people are drinking 5 times, 6 times, or maybe these fizzy drinks, cold drinks they call it, or unnatural, this kind of packaged drinks. So water is best. Or if you want to introduce something very interesting, is chach. Chach is so nice, for your gut bacteria, gut microbiome. This is all very scientifically, or we have so many other drinks. Sattu is very good, You can also have seasonal, whatever, even Nimbu Pani is very good.
Sure.
So this is how we start. I can say very, very, with very strong confidence that Ayurveda is very simple. It's very easy to implement. Just a small change and you'll see a big difference. Especially I'm talking about the workplace. If you make a small change in what they're eating, what they're drinking, I can show you results within a few weeks.
So we'll come to that part very soon, Dr. Partap. So you spoke about Prakriti.
Yeah.
You spoke about the food that we are serving at workplace.
Yeah.
Sattvic food.
Yes.
Plant-based food.
Yes.
You have spoken about hydration.
Yeah.
Which is about fresh, clean water.
Yes.
Preferably in the copper vessel, and then drink it all together. And you also mentioned about something to do with spirituality. I'll come to that in a minute's time. But what's the role of sleep?
Sleep is
नींद कितनी जरूरी है?
Sleep
Productive, happy employee के लिए.
See, when it comes to the mind, we're talking about mental health or emotional health. Sleep is very important. In fact, we say that sleep is the diet of your mind.
Sleep is the diet of your mind.
Yeah.
Very
So
interesting.
like when you take nutrition for your body, so many tablets people take, multivitamins and all. But if you don't have good sleep, at least 6 to 8 hours of good sound sleep, so your mind is undernourished. So your mind is becoming weak, which means emotions will be triggered very easily. When your mind is strong, why some people have control over anger or anxiety or all these fears? Because they have strong mind. We say this guy is very strong minded. Even in toughest situation,
He doesn't
this
move.
employee is very, very powerful.
Resilience high है उसका.
Yeah, because his mind is strong. Manobal, we call it in
Manobal.
mental strength. And sleep is one way to rebuild that. And that's why the importance of sleep. In Ayurveda, we also have, they say that there are three sub-pillars of health. So there are three pillars of this human system: body, mind, and soul. And then there are three supporting pillars. These are called upastambha. So one is food, we already spoke about.
Sure.
Second is sleep. Third is very interesting. Most people don't pay much attention. The word in Sanskrit is brahmacharya.
Brahmacharya.
It's a very heavy word, but most people translate brahmacharya as celibacy. No, it's not the real meaning, It's a more deeper meaning. In simple way, I would say to have controlled, indulgence in sexual activities. Not overdo it,
Sure.
So regulated, balanced.
Sure.
So that is the word. So these are the three supporting pillars. And if I give you a simple version, again, because you asked about sleep, food is more connected with body, sleep is more connected with mind,
With the mind.
and celibacy is connected with soul.
With the
So
soul.
that's why, people, when they go into spirituality, they're supposed to be more brahmacharya and celibate.
So we'll come to that again much more deeper. I'm very keen to know about the sleep in particular, right? But if you can help us, I read somewhere that the body repairs in deep sleep cycle,
Yes.
right? And I also read that liver in particular is responsible for cleaning your toxin.
Yeah.
And the liver purification, the blood purifies through liver only at a particular duration of the sleep.
Yeah.
So why don't may I just invite you to dwell a little bit more deeper from an Ayurvedic concept, Ayurvedic way, how this whole sleep works and the importance of sleep for our health, overall health.
So this is very simple. It's not very complicated. I will keep repeating this sentence. Ayurveda is not a rocket science. It is very simple. It is easy to practice. It is very effective. Coming back to your question, of course, I already explained sleep is the diet of the mind. But when you're sleeping, your whole system is kind of at rest. So you're not like interfering externally, physically, or with your senses. So now the internal organs are designed in a way: the liver will do its cleaning, the kidney will do its cleaning, the other organs, that they are designed like that. Like when you sleep, then they will be automatically resetting the whole system into the natural state of balance. And lot of toxins, lot of blood purification, or it's the purification of other fluids which are in the, how to separate the toxins from the vital fluids, and then push them into the channels of excretion so that they can be thrown out of the body. This is such a beautiful system. So therefore sleep is very important, not only for the mind but also for all your organs, especially your liver, kidney, your intestines, your gut, to be healthy.
Be healthy. But so there's also say rapid eye movement, non-rapid eye movement. What according to Ayurveda is the right time to sleep, right way to get a sound sleep?
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about that?
This is good question, and especially, as I said, 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So the timing when you go to bed is also very important. Today there is a lot of research around circadian rhythm. We all talk about it now.
Yes.
But in Ayurveda we call it dinacharya.
Dinacharya.
So they've already spoken like when to wake up. Of course, again I'm saying that when we hear in Ayurveda all these words like, wake up in Brahma Muhurt, don't literally take it. Some things are not possible today. We are living in a very different kind of world than we were in like 5,000 years ago. So, but certain things we have to respect. Like when the sun rises, our energies are also rising up and they start working. Now, if you're sleeping after sunset, so it's like your energies have already woken up and there's nothing happening. Everything is shut down. So they could start damaging, certain things. So we have to rise early, like at least around sunrise or before
there was
sunrise.
a saying called early to bed, early to rise,
Makes
make
the
the person healthy, wealthy and wise.
Yes.
Right. So what you're saying?
So go to bed by 10 o'clock.
By 10 o'clock?
Is good. Or if you're super busy, latest by 11. And wake up around 5, 6 is the best time. There's a book called 5 a.m. Club. Might have heard about it.
Yeah,
and there are so many people I have met in the world. And especially when I meet somebody who is very healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, I always ask them this question like, what is the secret?
What's the dinacharya?
And many people tell me that I wake up early. I wake up at like 4 a.m., 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and I do my meditation and breathing, and I do all these things. So waking up early is a special energy, according to the circadian rhythm. That is the time when your mind is most peaceful. You can even, coming back to the workplace, if you are an employee in a corporate, so that is the time when you can make a planner, even if you don't do meditation or whatever pranayam, that's the time to focus, to concentrate, to brainstorm.
When you get up early in the morning,
Yes.
right?
And that is, something which retains for long.
But today's world,
Yeah.
companies, the bosses are giving work after
Yeah.
8 o'clock and they tell them to present this in the next day morning. So what is the message for the corporate life?
No, this is I never understand this. What's the problem to give the work in the morning? You get up in the morning and do that work in the morning. What's the problem?
Right.
Sometimes I go in the West, there are night clubs. I always give this example. Why don't you make day clubs? There's nothing wrong with dancing. You can dance in daytime. Why to dance in the night? So similarly, why you have to do something after 10 o'clock?
Oh.
You wake up 4 o'clock in the morning. You can wake up 3 o'clock, 3 a.m.
So
also.
your recommendation is go to bed by about 10,
yes,
ideally.
Yes.
And is there any precautions, anything to be done before going to sleep to get a good sleep?
Oh, there are quite a few things. Very interesting. This is something is first of all, if people have problem with sleeping, so what is the cause for that? Cause is their brain is overstimulated. So first of all, no stimulant, especially even after when you come back from home. I suggest people that when you come back home, just do a 5 to 7 minutes of shavasana. Shut down your phone and everything, TV. Just shavasana, this yoga pose.
Yeah, they can learn in the YouTube.
Yeah,
There are enough programs on that. Yeah.
So this means all the day you're overstimulated. Just 5 to 7 minutes of shavasana will put your brain to silence. Then, if possible, it's very easy. Take some sesame oil, tilka tel, just a little bit of head massage. If somebody can do it for you, just another 5 minutes. 5 minutes savasana, 5 minutes of head massage, and then take a shower, 5 minutes. 15 minutes, 15 minutes mein you are actually ready to go back to work again.
Go back to work again?
Go back to work
I thought
again.
you were going to tell go back to bed.
I'm just saying you get so much energy mentally and physical that you're fresh. But I'm not advising them to go back to work. Now this is the time. This is what we call work and family balance. Now is the time, because your mind is healthy, happy, peaceful. Spend time with your family, with your children. This is very important for your health also. Now what is happening? We come back stimulated, then we join the Zoom meeting or some meeting and more stimulated.
No,
then
we're also watching OTT.
Then you have some
You're watching
coffee, or
Netflix,
some people
yeah.
have alcohol, and you watch something. You're stimulating your brain further. This is not done.
Not done.
Take a break. It's like you're driving a car for 7-8 hours. So you cannot keep on going. You have to take a break, make it quiet, थोड़ा देर रुक के उसको engine ठंडा हो जाएगा. Then you drive again. So that is how, and then you asked about how to have a good sound sleep. So this is
First step.
when you come home, also have a nice light dinner, which is again should not be very oily, greasy, or too much fried, too much spicy. Something simple like some soup, vegetables, dal, roti, jo bhi khate ho, it's okay, no problem with that. And then again, if you want to go to bed at 10 o'clock, so I would suggest at least 45 minutes before, shut down all your gadgets, Try to shut down everything, because stimulation nahi chahiye. And soak your feet in water, warm water, 5-7 minutes. Then you just massage your feet. Put some nice aroma in your room, very nice aroma which you like, which your mind becomes peaceful. You can also put some kind of a simple music, very slow music, some instrumental, sitar vadan or some flute or tabla, or now there is sleep music also available.
Yes.
You can put any of this music and just lie down and do some deep breathing and savasana. You will have wonderful sleep. Before going to sleep, when you are going to sleep, if your mind is agitated or in anxiety, then it's difficult to have a sound sleep.
Outstanding. Very good. So we have spoken about what we have to do for our physical body, which is the kind of food that we eat.
Yes.
Understand your prakriti and connect the food with the prakriti. The second thing we spoke about emotions, managing emotions. Food is one of the component. Sleep has a role to play in emotions around
Yes.
it. Now let's talk about the soul. And one other thing which I want to understand from you is the connection between body, mind, and the soul. But let's first dwell a little bit more on the soul part.
So
आत्मा है कि नहीं है?
I think I'll answer this question if I can bring in one more component.
Sure.
Which is very, very important. And we all have it, especially in the corporate world, people have it more, This is called buddhi, intelligence. Why I'm bringing intelligence here is that, if you have intelligence, which we all have, and if you use it properly, then you can actually manage your mind. Your emotions, your mind, you can manage very easily. In Ayurveda, it is a very beautiful word. I would like to, all of you to remember this word. This is called pragya parad. Very nice word. The cause of our imbalances, whether it is physical, emotional, social, or whatever, is misusing of intelligence. Pragya aparad. Offending your intelligence, abusing your intelligence, or not using your intelligence. See, mind will have some, kind of, वेग आते हैं उसमें कुछ ना कुछ, है ना, एकदम से waves उठेगा, anger or anxiety or fear or even positive emotions, But there is उसका एक boss है ऊपर, intelligence, बुद्धि, which has a discriminatory faculty, is our discriminatory faculty. For example, अगर गुस्सा trigger हो रहा है, तो sometimes we control it with buddhi. So in Ayurveda, we also talk about that how do you use your buddhi to actually control your mind. और उसके लिए हमको, again, the food is important, sleep is important, all these factors that we have spoken. How they will help, I am giving a little bit more deeper explanation. How they will help, they will build your wisdom, vivek आपका develop होगा. And with
passion.
Wisdom.
Wisdom, sorry.
So wisdom can actually decide, okay, which is now called mindfulness, awareness, and all this, people are talking about. So this will help you to, have control over the mind and the senses, which are always pulling you into different directions. Now we can come back.
So now coming to intellect, buddhi.
Yes, buddhi.
तो बुद्धि को कंट्रोल करने के लिए, बुद्धि को wisdom से ऑपरेट करने के लिए, what is that we have to do to operate it with lot of wisdom?
See, that is a very technical question. I think if you go deep into that, it will be little
Keep it in short if you can.
But I can explain you. See, buddhi is governed by another component in the human system, which is normally called subconscious mind or unconscious mind. In our terminology, we call it chitta. See, chitta is the place where we have all the samskars, जो आपकी जितनी भी ये ट्रिगर होते हैं ना, इमोशनल ट्रिगर, गुस्सा, एंजाइटी, traumatic experiences, they're all like, each one of them is in this hard disk. This is like a hard disk. यहाँ से सब कंट्रोल होता है.
Okay.
तो हम आयुर्वेद में we go into that part also.
The chitta part.
Yeah, we're not maybe going in that, but the chitta is the hard disk where all your experiences, all your, whatever you have experienced is lying there. Each one of them is like one file, right? So therefore, that buddhi, how your buddhi will operate, it also depends like what kind of samskars you have. Therefore, in Ayurveda, we also go into something called chitta shodhan therapy. How to calm down the negative, desires. That's what yoga is also. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. You heard the definition of yoga? Yoga is defined by Patanjali as yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. Now people think yoga means gymnastics.
Yeah,
No, that's not yoga.
That's not yoga.
That's asana. तो आपके जो ये अंदर जो हार्ड डिस्क में जो प्रोग्राम्स आपको continuously agitate करते हैं, and that's how you behave emotionally, mentally, even physically, that's where we go in and we try to calm down. That's called the root cause based solution.
So at workplace, you suggest this kind of, you spoke about to calm down your chit, your pravati.
Yeah.
You said there are programs available in
I think
Ayurveda.
again, let's not make it too complicated. It all comes back to food. So if you're eating more sattvic, fresh, natural food, if you're sleeping well,
Hydration.
if you're breathing well, if you're drinking more water, then naturally your chitta will be more shant. There will not be too much trigger because buddhi is active now. Buddhi is the power. If something triggers, you say no. Like sometimes we have a desire to do something and somebody says no. Let's not do it. It's not good. It will create some differences. It will create some kind of imbalance in my workplace. Let me not express it. So that is what I mean here. Of course, if you go a little bit more deeper, that will be coming to the soul part. So that's where when we enter into some other type of techniques like chanting mantras, or doing meditation, that's also called chitta shodhan. Chitta shodhan can be done through by doing something more positive, developing positive habits, waking up early in the morning, doing little bit of some kind of chanting at that time. So that will neutralize the negative so-called traumatic experiences or negative samskars in the chitta, and you will be actually a different person. We do it with many people. We can do it in the corporates also, because you will realize that some people, they understand that this is my problem, but they have no control.
Right.
So that's how you have to do. You have to go to the root cause. And I have seen many type of so-called programs now floating, whether it is some leadership programs, coaching programs, or group working or team building. But you also know that they're not really working well because we have not addressed the root cause. There is still a virus in the hard disk. That virus has to be removed. Then you will see a change with all these programs. Change will be faster. So we have to bring in that part also. That's why I wanted to speak about buddhi and chitta.
So, Dr. Partap, we have discussed a lot of things about Ayurveda.
Yes.
And I want to further simplify with your help.
Okay.
And in particular, I want to simplify this whole connection between body, mind, and the soul. But the first question is, what is soul? I have never seen the soul. I don't know where the soul resides. There are a lot of misconception.
Yeah, it's very simple. Once you know the subject, it's not complicated. People make it confusing.
Sure.
People who don't know about it, they make it confusing. Soul is just an energy which keeps this whole system running. Very simple. It's like electricity.
Sure.
In your home, there are so many gadgets. There's an air conditioner, there's a refrigerator, there's So have you seen the electricity?
No, we see the bulb.
You see the only outer part, and how it operates.
That's right.
So it's like an energy which is like, powering this whole system, whether it is body, mind, or whatever we call it. So that is what is called Atma, And this is me. इसीलिए हम बोलते हैं my body, We always use this word, my body, my head, my nose, and even my mind. It's like my car, my apartment. This means something which belongs to me.
Right.
So unknowingly, we are actually realizing or, actually confirming this, that I am not this body. But the question is that from, I would say like from our experience in this life, we have superimposed this energy on this body. So that's when I start to identify myself with the body. And then I feel everything in the body, whether there is a pain or there is a happiness or whatever in the mind, I feel it. Literally, this energy has nothing to do with all these things. It's completely free from all this, But that is the whole purpose of this human life. We have to reach that realization where I can realize that I am not this body, I am soul, I am full of love, I am full of light, I am full of ananda or bliss, what we call it, or priti, So this is my original, existence. That's how I exist, And because I am a soul, I'm trying to look for all these things in the body sometimes.
That's a need.
That's why I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. But can you bring me one person in the world? Bring me one person in this world who can tell me that I died. Bring me anybody.
I don't know. That's
because we don't die.
We don't die.
You can only explain something which you have experienced.
But that's only in the Indian philosophy, in the Vedanta.
No,
in the Western world,
there's no philosophy. There's soul is in everything. In plants, in animals, there is soul.
Okay.
So it's nothing to do with any religion.
So it's a deep subject.
It's eternal. That's why we say, when we say Sanatan Dharma, people don't really understand the meaning. Sanatan is eternal religion, and it's the religion of the soul.
Religion of the soul.
And so the eternal religion is that I am soul. I am part and parcel of this whole universe. I am one single cell in this, big universe. And I have some properties, like I mentioned. We say in Sanskrit, Sat Chit Anand. Sat means I always exist. Chit means I am aware. The awareness also comes from soul. And I'm always in bliss. There's no problem.
Fantastic. And there's also one very, I would not say fancy word, but there's one trend which is catching up, consciousness,
Yes.
universal consciousness. Would you like to talk about it?
Well, consciousness comes from the soul, So we're actually, this is what I'm saying. When you don't know the whole subject, people, create some words which are very confusing because they don't know the whole thing. So conscious in this whole system, body is not conscious, body is material, mind is also material. Everything that relates to mind is also material. But there is one part in this system which is Atma or soul, which is conscious. So the conscious means the feeling that I exist. And that is what gives consciousness to this whole material body. In Hindi we call it Chetana. This is the Chetana. So I don't know what's the big deal about it. People just bring in all these words and then they call it, this universe is also conscious. We say in Sanskrit, yat pinde tat brahmande. Whatever is inside this one small unit, which is the soul,
Body.
is also in the universe. This is made up of 5 elements. Universe is also made up of 5 elements. There is a life in this. There is also life in the universe. So that's
therefore we are
that's the
interconnected.
universal consciousness. Sometimes they call it also a combined consciousness of all the souls. So that's like.
So the energy of the soul is the energy of the environment. At workplace, they're different employees. They bring different energies. They're bringing different emotions.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say the emotions, the energy that the employees are bringing at workplace is the energy of the organization?
Of course, because that is what is called, collective consciousness, or sometimes when there is a group of people, so they all have their own consciousness. And if it is in synergy, that will be collective consciousness. So if there is conflicts, then there will be some kind of, conflicted consciousness, you can say.
So if we have to make the workplace more collaborative,
Yes.
more acceptance,
Yeah.
more cooperation,
Yeah.
and more happy,
Yeah.
more productive, then the collective consciousness, we have to be aware of the collective consciousness
Yes.
that we are bringing or we are creating at workplace,
Yeah.
right? Is that
And
fair?
it's like, bringing that concept of that we are one company, we are like one family, in family we are all working together collaboratively. So that feeling of that one unit is very important. And I don't think there is a difficulty in this, as long as we really take care of our own body, our mind, our emotions. When I am balanced and everybody else focuses on their own balance, then everything will be balanced.
So if every individual is focusing on their own balance, anchoring,
The problem today is in the workplace is that I don't look at my imbalances, but I look at your imbalances.
Yeah.
And I want to fix your imbalances, and I don't want to do anything for myself.
and that's also originating, Dr. Pratap, from jealousy, competition. We are comparing ourselves.
Yeah.
We are always competing with others around it.
Yeah,
So
because this is our kind of like a human behavior, that I don't want to see my faults, and I try to find faults in the others. And that's when I become jealous of others. I become angry at others. I try to create problem for others.
is there a connection between the body, mind, and the soul?
Of course, there is a connection between body and mind.
Body, mind.
And soul is never affected by anything. This is the beauty, which is we have to understand. And the beauty is that I am not this body. I live in this body. I mean soul.
Soul.
And when I realize this, that I am soul, so I will never have any kind of problems, because it's not happening in me. It's like you're living in an apartment. So apartment can have a broken window. It can have some paint is not good. Sometimes the floor is not good. So it's not giving you that much trouble, because you realize that it's not happening in me. Of course, I'm not saying you don't have to keep it well.
Sure.
You have to keep it well. But the subject of soul is really at a different level. At the level of soul, there is only love, light, and life. We say Jiva, Jyoti, and Prem, or we say Sat, Chit, Ananda.
Satchitananda.
So as a soul, the beautiful thing is I will never die. I'm eternal. I'm full of love. And when I know this and I see you as a soul, so there's no problem.
So I accept you as a, then I'm not interacting with Dr. Pratap, but I'm interacting with the soul.
No, at a practical level, of course, I will be working with your...
Of course, that's the role I'm given.
But at the back of the mind, I know that you are also soul, I am also soul, everybody is soul, and we are all one. So that factor of love or preeti, that will kick in here.
So, Dr. Pratap, we are coming to the fag end of our podcast.
Yeah.
I like to ask you a question that whether organization will do something for me to make me more peaceful, happy, more lighter is dependent on the organization. So I can't depend. What is that as an individual human being, as an individual person that I can do? And as you said, there's a connection between body, mind, and soul.
Yes.
So let's dwell this a little bit more. Please help us understand what are the 4 or 5 things a person must do to keep the body very healthy.
So very simple. Again, very important is have a routine, a daily routine, what we
Dincharya?
call Dincharya, which means go to bed early, wake up early. This is amazing. It works like
This is
wonders.
fundamental.
It's very fundamental. And also there is basic things in the Dincharya, like wake up in the morning, drink some water, go for evacuation of bowels. This is very important. The simple things, you can clean your eyes, wash your nose, clean your tongue, ears. And we also in Ayurveda we talk about oiling all the senses. So you can apply some oil, some oil in the ear, some oil pulling technique is very popular now. In the night time you can put some oil or ghee in the eyes. So our senses are very, very prominent, which we don't pay attention. 5 senses.
The
are
5
very,
senses?
yeah. So just to keep them healthy, because they are the point of connection from the outer world. Then second thing, in the daily routine, which we didn't talk much about, is also your exercise.
Physical activity.
Some physical activity, like you do some kind of a yoga asanas, or you go for a walk, or you do some. I don't recommend heavy exercises. People are doing.
But that's needed, Dr. Pratap, because the muscles are degenerating, right?
No, I'm saying that not like over exercising. You can do some simple weight training, some kind of,
You recommend in Ayurveda to do weight training?
Ayurveda recommends, but we don't recommend using too much of your strength. They say ardhabal. Ardhabal means use half of your strength for exercise.
Oh.
So that is what Ayurveda recommends. But exercise is
So
definitely.
exercise, you can do weight training, you can walk, you
Yes,
can run.
you can do walking, you can do some jogging, running. According to your prakriti also. It's depend also if you're what kind of prakriti you are. Accordingly you choose your exercise.
You can do yoga asana.
Yeah. Then breakfast is so important, And breakfast should be, full of nutrition, and it should be easy to digest, because that's when your Agni, your digestive fire, has woken up just in the morning. So it's not very strong. So
But again, the breakfast has to be sattvic, right?
it has to be sattvic.
And so give us some examples of sattvic
You
breakfast.
can have like some if you're like South Indian, some idli, you can have poha, you can have some upma, you
Dalia.
can have fruits, dalia. You can, if you like to have a chapati, that's also fine, chapati and sabji, but something light. I always recommend that soak some nuts in the night, some almonds in the night and walnuts, cashew nuts, or if you want some.
You can have some sprouted salad in the morning.
Sprouts are beautiful, in the morning. Breakfast, you can have sprouts, moong sprouts, kala chane ka sprouts. So they're full of nutrition and easy to digest. So I don't recommend like paratha and, fried stuff in the morning, Then sometimes you can have only fruits, Fruits are also great in the morning,
And one can take charge in the morning?
Chach is okay.
In the morning?
Chach is very good. And then, another principle we didn't talk about is when you're eating your food, be more silent, be quiet, try to chew the food properly, and try to make sure do not eat too many things in one meal, In Ayurveda, we have this concept of incompatible foods, viruddha ahar. So sometimes you're eating foods which are incompatible. Of course, the food should be nutritious. And second thing, very important in Ayurveda, it should be easily digestible. If you're eating the most nutritious food, organic food, whatever, but if you're not digesting it, that is a big problem. And this is another big issue these days. People have IBS and gut problem and bloating and gas. It's a very common thing because you're not digesting. Even if you're eating light food, you're not digesting.
So you have a leaky gut problem, right?
Yeah, that's because of this. Because if you do not digest the food you're eating, the undigested food will start to ferment. It will give you burps. It will give you bloating. It will produce a very toxic material. In Ayurveda, we call it ama. Ama means it's a toxic material, sticky material, and I say ama is the mama, is the mother of all disease. सारी बीमारी आम से शुरू होती है. जहाँ पहुँच गया आम, हो गया काम तमाम. So digestion is very important. That's why we also, tell that when you're eating food, don't look at your mobile, don't watch TV. Don't talk. These,
Anything that is basically igniting your brain or
yeah,
creating emotions, high
because
emotions.
because you have to focus on your eating. Your
Got it.
digestive juices have to be ordered to be secreted, and this is again at the workplace. This is a very common problem.
Yeah.
When people are
The
eating,
cafeterias are very noisy.
yeah, they're very noisy and they're talking, and sometimes having a business meeting on lunch table. This is not done.
So in one of the things we were taught as a small child was to pray before the food, right?
Be
That was to
grateful,
calm down,
to have
to have
be
emotions which are full of gratitude,
Yes.
love.
And calm down your mind, chant a mantra, or just be like, have a calm state of mind. That is very important. Also, chewing of the food. Do not drink water just before you're starting eating. Don't drink water immediately after eating. In between, you can drink some water. Warm water is very good. Some water with some ginger or cumin, saunf, jeera, dhania, ubal ke. You can drink that water. It helps. Anything that helps to digest your food. See, the basic rule in Ayurveda is whatever you're eating, it has to be nutritious. It has to be easily digestible. That's the whole principle of how
And
food
the
is.
body knows what food you're able to digest faster or not, right?
Of course, according to your prakriti, according to say morning is the time when your agni is not so strong. Lunch is your time when your agni is connected with the sun and it's very strong. So lunch should be your main meal. Dinner should be again light and easily digestible and as early as you can eat it. Like maybe 6, 7, latest by 8 you should finish because you want to sleep at 10. So we say at least 3 hours before sleeping you should have your dinner, but
At least 2 hours to start with.
even 2 hours is also good.
So for the body, you said focus on nutritional food.
Yes, and easily digestible.
Easily digestible. You mentioned about exercises.
And food should not be incompatible. विरुद्धाहार नहीं होना चाहिए. एक ही meal में there's a whole list of things we can talk
We can
about.
share that with the audience.
We can talk about this
we can
later.
talk in the next podcast maybe.
Yeah.
So that's one part of the whole
So
thing.
this is like you're asking like what employees can do to keep them healthy. So this is going to make their health very good. Just when you stick to the daily routine, then your mind also becomes calm. One reason for agitation is that we have irregular lifestyle. Sleeping time, eating time, lunch miss हो गया, कभी खाया, कभी नहीं खाया, कभी 3 बजे lunch हो रहा है. So that also makes your mind little bit agitated.
And you also mentioned a very important part. And I think I learned from you that half an hour before the food, half an hour after the food, and during the food, we should not be drinking any kind of alcohol, any kind of water, avoidable as much as.
Yeah, alcohol we don't recommend any time. And now see, all of our...
No, but it's become a fashionable, right? To drink beer along with the food.
Yeah, but it's like a recommendation. All our recommendations are now being proven by the Western scientific, research.
Yeah, sure.
Now they're talking that any alcohol in any quantity is not good for this body. There's research on this. Anyway, so this is like... I also say that go step by step, You don't have to change overnight. It's not possible.
I get that, yeah.
It's not possible. So this is physical body, we can take care of that. When it comes to mind, very important, We talk about jaisa an, vaisa man. So when we say an, it's not what you're eating. In Ayurveda, food is not what you're eating from mouth. It's also what you're watching, what you're hearing, what you're reading,
what you're touching,
what you're associating with, the kind of people. आपका संग कैसा है, कुसंग है या सत्संग है. You have to be very careful because this is all your food and this is going to impact your mind. So in Ayurveda, like in the body, we take care of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, 3 things. Similarly, in the mind, there is also 3 qualities: Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So if you want to have...
So can we simplify?
Very simple.
So
very
black
simple.
energy, we call it?
I'll give you even simpler word. Sattva means when your sattva is dominant in the mind is peaceful, it's clear, it's pure, it's clean. And that's when your buddhi is working, You can discriminate. This is not... somebody will tell you, this food is not good for you, this is good for you. Because your mind is peaceful. When your mind is peaceful, then buddhi is sattvic.
Sure.
Second, this is called the healthy state of mind. तो इसीलिए हम लोग बोलते हैं सात्विक भोजन करना चाहिए, because the more you eat sattvic, the more dominant your mind will have.
The buddhi will become.
बुद्धि काम करेगी, आपका mind peaceful रहेगा, नींद
buddhi
अच्छी
means
आएगी.
also the wisdom, right?
Yeah, buddhi and wisdom, they are
interconnected.
Also part of that. So आपका ये पूरा system जो है ना, it's sattvic mind means healthy and happy mind, peaceful mind, relaxed mind. But if you're indulging in too much stimulants, again coming to smoking, alcohol, caffeine, nicotine, stimulation, eating too much spicy, hot spicy,
Coffee.
fried, and all this caffeine. So they are stimulating your brain. This is rajasic food. Watching something violent, negative, something which is very agitating to watch, hearing something, criticism, talking, chugli karte rehte hain log ek dusre ka. This is all like going to agitate your mind. This is called rajasic mind. This is called a mind which is full of sickness. तो इससे बीमारी आएगी. And tamasic is even more.
Lowest level of.
I always give an example. Clean water, a lake of clean water means sattvic. Everything is clear. You can see what is right, what is wrong, what is black, what is white. When the water is agitated, you see still things, but what you perceive is not right. इसको wrong knowledge बोलते हैं. When you are in the sattvic state of mind, you perceive knowledge as it is. In the rajasic state, you are perceiving knowledge which is agitated, distorted. But you don't know. You think this, I'm right. That's what is happening in the workplace.
Oh.
Two people in rajasic state debating on a subject, and both of them are wrong. Only in the peace. Sometimes when you go home and you say, yeah, I was not right, when you are in peaceful.
In reflection.
Yeah. And tamasic is ignorance, when you completely are not aware of anything. सब block हो जाता है. Like a muddy lake water, कुछ नहीं दिखता. ना अंदर कुछ जा रहा है. It's like a drunk person. So again, at the mental level, if you want to be healthy, always choose sattvic food, sattvic watching, sattvic hearing, sattvic people, sattvic music. This is so powerful. Within 3 weeks, you will change. Within 3 weeks. And moving on to the soul part, there is also 3 energies. There's love, life, and light. The soul gives life to this body. We all live because of that. The soul also gives glow, beauty. जो आज कहते हैं ना, this is the secret of beauty. If you're spiritual, if you have met spiritual people, you'll see they're naturally very beautiful. They don't use
glowing.
They don't go to any beauty salon, but they're very beautiful. And the most important thing, which we are all looking for, love. That's also a subject of soul. Today, when you love somebody, it could be your child, it your mother, or anybody. Love doesn't mean some physical, some interaction, physical relation. Now, love has been converted into some kind of a sexual thing, which is a very low thing. That's why people say, I have fallen in love. In love, you don't fall. You rise in love, So, soul also has these 3 energies, and we should realize that these are the energies which I want to actually bring it into my body. My body should be full of love. My body should be full of, light. My body should be full of life.
So what are the things we have to do for the soul?
Jiva meditation. This is the Jiva
So
meditation.
meditation is one part.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll share the link with the
Yeah.
with all the listeners, the Jiva link.
Yeah.
But let's talk more specifically.
More specifically, you can, do some kind of a chanting. You can sing some bhajan. You can spiritual songs. You can sing. This is what, or if you want to keep it very simple, make it like so-called non-religious people. Although this is also not religious. I am not talking about what you have to chant. You can chant whatever you want. But let us keep it even like, what is the food for soul? We said love is food for the love is the food for soul. So in your employee workplace, again, if you love people, if you have some compassion for them, if you have empathy for them, your soul will be so happy. Another thing is like speaking the truth, being truthful. That's the food for soul. Non-violence, not creating problem for others, not trying to create
not sounding manipulative.
not manipulative. So this all these things will make your soul so powerful, And when soul is powerful, which is you, so that the same energy will also transform or transmit into your body and mind. Emotionally you'll be more stable. So sometimes, although we start from body and go to the soul, but these days I'm giving workshops where I don't talk about body. You'll be very surprised to know that body is just a manifesting field. It has no independence. Whatever the body is doing now is governed by the mind.
So is it fair to say, जैसा हम सोचते हैं,
जी, वैसा
ही हम manifest. The way we think is what get manifested in the body, right?
Yes, that's because any action that you do physically, the first manifestation is in the mind. If you want to go watch a movie, idea mind में ही आएगा. आपको कुछ खाना है जाके छोले भटूरे.
I don't know why you're coming to chola. I know this is my favorite food, by the way. But once a month I eat, okay?
Yeah, but it's okay. I'm not talking. But anything you want to do physically, आइडिया पहले कहाँ आएगा? माइंड में. That's why sattvic mind is so important. Because when your mind is sattvic, it is governed by sattvic buddhi, which means now you are aware. अदरवाइज नहीं होगा आपसे. ये जितना भाषण देते हैं लोग आजकल के, ये करो वो होता नहीं है. बिकॉज द प्रॉब्लम इज देयर एंड दैट इज गवर्नड बाय योर सबकॉन्शियस माइंड. वो चित्त में जो आपके संस्कार पड़े हुए हैं बचपन से, जो कुछ आपने बार बार प्रैक्टिस किया है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, लेट्स, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट यू, लेट्स से छोले भटूरे. So if you have eaten it from your childhood, that's a strong program there in your hard disk. It's very difficult to delete. You can't delete it. तो वो आपको ट्रिगर करेगा बार बार. आप कितना ही जोर लगा लो, वो आएगा ऊपर. बट अगर सात्विक बुद्धि होगी तो you can say no.
We'll minimize it.
You can say I will eat once a month.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
Absolutely.
Once a month. That's okay. It's not a problem. We are here to live, you know. हम लोग बिल्कुल फैनेटिक नहीं होते हैं. Ayurveda is not fanatic. तो इसलिए वो चित्त का इंपॉर्टेंस बहुत है. वी हैव टू क्लीन द सो कॉल्ड नेगेटिव संस्कार्स फ्रॉम द चित्त.
I'm just curious to ask one question.
Yes.
The last question. How has been your journey? How easy was for you to become what I see a Dr. Partap Chauhan, world-known Ayurvedic practitioner?
So again, because you told me that we have to keep it employee focused.
No, but then you're also running. No. By the way, you're also running 80 clinics.
No, but I'm going to give you an example. If you yourself are grounded, balanced, happy, then the same energy goes to other people. This is my experience. I have been to many places in the world. I'll give you a very interesting example. Once I was in I think Romania. It's in a very big scientific laboratory. Even the president of the country, when he has to enter, he has to take a permission. So I was invited to talk to these scientists. So I was thinking, these people are scientists. How do I talk Vata Pitta Kapha to them? So because I know that everyone is human being, they all made up of same components, So I told them, let's for 1 hour forget that you are scientists. And then I started speaking to them, and everybody related with me. So what I'm saying is that if you know the what you're doing, and if you are in yourself in the state of balance, then very easily you can transmit the same energy to others. So that's one thing I wanted to say about the employees also. That's why each employee is so important, Of course, the team is important, but each one of them should be healthy. Second thing, my journey has been very interesting. I have been traveling all over the world, around 40 countries. And I have actually met very nice people. I feel people are good everywhere. They need a little bit of guidance. They need a little bit of knowledge, how to eat, how to sleep, how to drink water. And I can show you hundreds of, letters from people who were in corporate, who were running businesses, who were completely, broken in their social, emotional, and physical health. And they have written me, you have changed my life. So this is the power of Ayurveda. People have not realized, people are doing so many of these so-called Western programs now in the corporates. I'm saying that you have to go to the root. If you don't solve the root cause problem, then superficial will be temporary. For example, if you have a virus in your body, you have a fever in your body, if I put you in a 5-star hotel with nice facilities, you cannot be happy. You may enjoy the jacuzzi bath or whatever is available there, but you have a virus inside. So that is what I'm talking about. Ayurveda goes to the root cause of the problem, which primarily is in the chitta or at the intellectual level. But as I told you, the solution is at the very, very, very simple one. Change your food, sleep well, drink water, have some kind of, social interaction within your family, with your children, have some enjoyment, laugh sometime. Laughing is very important. I never see why people are so stressed. I don't understand, What is the big deal? And when you come to that level of spirituality, then there is no big deal, Everything is temporary. Everything is temporary, and I will never die. I will never be old. I'm always young and beautiful. I'm full of love. I'm full of bliss. I'm full of ananda. It's right here. I'm searching it outside where it doesn't exist. This is the problem. So it is all here. So that's why I have created a very nice meditation. It's called Jiva meditation. Jiva means soul. So at least when I started that, you have to know yourself. So when I say know yourself, it has different meanings. Know your body, know your emotions, know your mind, and know who you really are. you are really the soul. I am Atma. I'm not this body. I live in this body. So therefore, this is very important.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pratap. It was such wonderful interact and such a good feeling to interact with you
Thank you.
and making things so simple for all of us. So just to summarize, can we implement the philosophy practices of Ayurveda at workplace? The answer is yes. Whether the organization will do or not do, that we cannot control. But as individuals, we can do. And as Dr. Pratap said, it's a very simple step. You start simply by putting up a dincharya in place, your daily routine in place. Early to bed, early to rise, make the person healthy, wealthy, and wise. Start implementing it. Look at your sattvic food, which is pure vegetarian, fresh food that gives energy. Simply means prana, the food that is growing, the food that will, you leave the food will change the 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 physiology or the biology of the food will change. That's what the sattvic food is all about. Focus on your hydration. uh, Drink clean, pure water. Don't drink water before the food and after the food, half an hour. Go to sleep. Have a 6 to 8 hours of sound sleep. Focus on your morning dincharya, which is when you get up, you focus on your meditation, breathing exercises, mantra chanting, physical activity, run, do your workouts, walk, spend time with the nature, absorb sunlight, and have beautiful interaction, have loving relationship with people. I think that's what Ayurveda is all about. So thank you so much. We will discuss in our next episode with Dr. Partap Chauhan more on some of the things that we can control through Ayurveda. But for that, next time. Thank you so very much.